Welcome all my crochet hook and friends, and thank you for watching Heather's Craft Corner. I'm Heather and this is Crochet Basics Lesson 3, Single Crochet. It's important to note that this tutorial uses US crochet terms. The single crochet in US terms is a double crochet in UK terms. For today's lesson, you will need yarn and a crochet hook. I'm also going to be using stitch markers. These are optional. However, they do help you identify the end of rows without much thinking, so that's a plus, especially for beginners. If you need tips or recommendation regarding yarn, hooks, or stitch markers, please see Lesson 1. The link is provided below in the description. To begin, we'll need to make a slip knot and a chain. You can find step-by-step instructions on making slip knots and chains in Crochet Basics Lesson 2. If you need that extra help, go ahead and click the link in the description below and come on back when you're ready. Make your slip knot, then we'll need to make a chain. For single crochet, you will need to chain the number of stitches for the row plus 1. The plus 1 is for the turning chain. In this tutorial, I'm making this 20 stitches wide, so I will chain 21. To count your chains, you can either count the V's on the top of the chain or the single-stranded bumps on the back of the chain. Either way works. Once you have the correct number of chains, you are going to insert your hook into the second chain from your hook. The chain next to the hook is your turning chain, and it is there solely to provide the height of your stitch. Skip that first chain and insert your hook into the second chain from the hook. You can insert your hook a few different ways. Some people insert it into the middle of the V, some insert it under the V. I choose to turn the chain over and insert it through the back bump. This will give a clean edge to your work. I'll show you this after the first row. Any of these methods will work, just be consistent. To make a single crochet, insert your hook, yarn over, and pull up a loop. There should now be 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over again, and pull through both loops. After your first stitch, I recommend using a stitch marker. This makes it much easier to spot the last stitch of the row, so just insert a marker under the V. Let's slow down a bit and walk you through the single crochet again. Insert your hook, yarn over and pull up a loop. There should be 2 loops on the hook now. Yarn over and pull through both loops. As you work along your chain, watch for twists in the chain. Be sure to keep your chain straight. It's important to work to the very last chain. There will be a knot next to the last chain, which is just a slip knot and not another chain. Now I'm going to show you why I like working into the back bump of the chain. Looking at the top or bottom of this row, all you see are neat V's. It looks the same. I really like how clean it leaves the edge. For row 2, turn your work and chain 1 for your turning chain. You're going to insert your hook into the first stitch. It's easy to miss this stitch if you're a beginner or even if you're experienced and just not paying attention. Make sure you insert the hook under the V of the stitch so that you have 2 strands over the hook plus the loop that was already there. Now grab the yarn with the hook and pull through these 2 strands. Yarn over and pull through both loops. Using a stitch marker in these first stitches makes it so much easier to see where the last stitch is going to be made on your next row. Take the guesswork out of it, make it easy on yourself. Keep working single crochets in each stitch across. These stitches are easier to identify if you look for the V at the top of each stitch. When you get to the end of the row, if you've marked the stitch, it's really easy to see which stitch is the end one. If you didn't mark the stitch, that's okay. Again, look for that V. You'll also see a horizontal strand from the turning chain. The V before this horizontal strand is going to be your last stitch. Pay attention to the edge, it should be straight. The next row is worked just like row 2. Turn your work and chain 1 for your turning chain. Insert your hook into that first stitch and work your single crochet. Continue working single crochets across the row and repeat the rows until you've reached your desired length or you feel you've gotten the hang of it. After a few more rows, your project will look more like a fabric. Keep practicing until your stitches are even, or at least even-ish. If your tension is uneven, your project may develop a wavy or uneven appearance. If you notice your project is getting smaller as you go, or your edges look like they tilt inward, you're not working into all of your stitches. You're either missing the last stitch of your row or skipping that first stitch of your row, or both. Stop, undo it, try again, and this time, use the stitch markers. Remember, everyone gets frustrated when they first start crocheting. Keep at it, I promise it will get easier. Be sure to tune in to Lesson 4 of Crochet Basics. Remember to support my channel by clicking subscribe and ringing the bell. If you liked this video, let others know by giving it a thumbs up and leaving a comment. Happy crocheting!